In a market that hosts more than 1600 cryptocurrencies and new ones showing up every single day, two of them have stood out for the last few years, Ethereum and Bitcoin. I'm Rahul from Simplilearn, and today we're going to talk about Bitcoin versus Ethereum. Now before we get into it, let's see what the Nobel Prize winner in economics, Milton Friedman, had to say in 1999. He believed that the internet was going to be one of the major forces in reducing the role of the government. He also believed that the one thing that was missing was reliable electronic cash. And just like he predicted, in 2009, the cryptocurrency Bitcoin was born. So what exactly is a cryptocurrency? A cryptocurrency works very similar to how our normal currency works. Now, normal currency could be dollar, euro, pound, yen, rupees, and so on. Now, any form of currency that isn't a cryptocurrency falls under the banner of normal currency. The normal currency is also known as fiat currency. Now, the major difference between cryptocurrencies and fiat currencies is that cryptocurrencies are decentralized. What does that mean? This means that cryptocurrencies don't have a central authority controlling them. Now, for example, they don't have a bank or a government that regulate how the cryptocurrency works. In a way, the cryptocurrency works in a very democratic fashion. Any change that needs to take place is done only after a majority of the people using the cryptocurrency agree to it. Cryptocurrencies and fiat currencies are similar because both of them were created as a medium of exchange. However, that's where the similarity ends. With cryptocurrencies, there are no third parties involved. For example, with fiat currencies, you have banks, you have money lenders, governments, and so on. With cryptocurrencies, we have cryptographic functions to ensure that the transactions are kept secure. Bitcoin uses the SHA-256 algorithm to ensure that the transactions are kept secure. But most importantly, cryptocurrencies use blockchain. Now, a blockchain is a set of records that are placed into a container known as a block. Now, these transactions are kept public and in a chronological order. So what is Bitcoin? Bitcoin, which was released in 2009 by the still unknown Satoshi Nakamoto, is a cryptocurrency that's decentralized, which means that there's no central authority that controls how it works. It works using encryption techniques like the SHA-256 algorithm to help people send and receive money across the world. Now, as I mentioned before, the payments are secured using cryptography. The most important point about Bitcoin is that it helps keep the identity of the people sending and receiving money anonymous. The transaction fee is also very low. Now, we all know that when we perform a transaction with the bank, some amount of money or service charge is levied on us. However, with Bitcoin, this value is very low. So what is Ether or Ethereum? Ethereum, which was created in 2015 by Vitalik Buterin, is a cryptocurrency which provides Ether tokens. This is equivalent to Bitcoins that you find in the Bitcoin network. Ether is used by users to build and deploy decentralized applications. Now, these are applications whose backend code is placed in a distributed peer-to-peer network. Now, this is different from a regular application as the backend code is placed in a centralized server in this case. Ether is also used to pay for services like the computational power that is required before a block can be added to the blockchain and as transaction fees. Ether also works very similar to how Bitcoin works and can be used for peer-to-peer payments. Ether can also be used to create smart contracts. Now, smart contracts work in such a way that when a certain set of predefined rules are satisfied, a particular output takes place. If you're interested in learning more about smart contracts, I suggest you click on the top right corner and watch our What is a Smart Contract video. And now for the thing you've been waiting for, Bitcoin versus Ethereum. Now, on one side, we have Bitcoin. Now, Bitcoin has proven itself to be a very popular and well-known cryptocurrency among everyone in the world. It also has the highest market cap among all the cryptocurrencies available right now. In a way, it's the current world champion when it comes to cryptocurrencies. On the other side, we have the underdog Ethereum. Now, Ethereum did not have the revolutionary effect that Bitcoin did, but it learned from Bitcoin and produced more functionalities on the concepts of Bitcoin. It is the second most valuable cryptocurrency in the market right now. So in a way, this is the fight between the underdog and the world champion. Who do you think will win? Now, let's understand how Bitcoin and Ethereum are different from each other. Bitcoin was the first cryptocurrency to be ever created. It was released in 2009 by a group of people or a person known as Satoshi Nakamoto. No one really knows if this person is alive or dead. However, with this technology came the concept of blockchain, which is still revolutionizing institutions around the world. On the other side, Ethereum was released in 2015 by a researcher and a programmer named Vitalik Buterin. Now, Vitalik used the concepts of blockchain and Bitcoin and improved upon it, providing a lot more functionality, creating the Ethereum platform for distributed applications and smart contracts. Bitcoin enables peer-to-peer transactions. Bitcoin in this case acts as a replacement for fiat currencies, just that it removes all the problems associated with fiat currencies. For starters, you don't have to pay high transaction fees for a transaction. At the same time, you also don't have a centralized authority that regulates how Bitcoins work. On the other hand, we have Ethereum, which enables peer-to-peer transactions and also provides a platform for creating and building smart contracts and distributed applications. A smart contract allows users to exchange just about anything of value, be it shares, money, real estate, and so on. In Bitcoin, miners are able to validate transactions with a method known as proof of work. This is the same with Ethereum as well. Proof of work involves miners around the world trying to solve a complicated mathematical puzzle to be the first one to add a block to the blockchain. Ethereum, however, will be moving to something known as proof of stake. The concept of proof of stake works in such a way that a person can mine or validate transactions in a block based on how many coins he or she owns. The more the amount of coins that a person owns, the larger their mining power will be. In the case of Bitcoin, every time a miner adds a block to the blockchain, they're rewarded with 12.5 Bitcoins. This reward that they receive is expected to halve every 210,000 blocks. Now, the next time the reward is going to halve is in the year 2020, where the reward will reduce from 12.5 Bitcoins to 6.25 Bitcoins per block. In the case of Ethereum, a miner or a validator receives a value of 3 Ether every time a block is added to the blockchain. The transaction fees in Bitcoin is completely optional. You can pay the miner more amounts of money to have them give special attention to your transaction. However, as I mentioned before, the transaction will go through even if you don't provide any money. On the other hand, it is absolutely necessary that you provide some amount of Ether for your transaction to be successful. The Ether that you provide will get converted into a unit called gas. Now, this gas drives the computation that allows your transaction to be added to the blockchain. Now, let's talk about the average amount of time it takes to add a block to the blockchain. In the case of Bitcoin, it takes 10 minutes to add a block to the blockchain. In the case of Ethereum, it takes only about 12 to 15 seconds for the same process. Now, let's talk about hashing algorithms, or how these systems can maintain their privacy and ensure security. Bitcoin uses a hashing algorithm known as SHA-256. Ethereum uses a cryptographic algorithm called ET-hash. Now, let's talk about some important values associated with Bitcoin and Ethereum. The total number of coins that each of them have are 17 million Bitcoins and 101 million Ether. Now, you can see that Ethereum has easily crossed the 100 million mark. However, the market capitalization for Bitcoins is 110 billion US dollars, whereas for Ethereum, it's only 28 billion. So even though Ethereum has a larger number of coins in the market, does not reach up to the level of Bitcoin. The number of transactions that take place in a day for Bitcoin is 219,000, and at the same time for Ethereum, it's 659,000. Now you can see this throughout July, where the number of transactions per day stay more or less the same for Bitcoin and Ethereum. Now, the number of blocks that are created for Bitcoin is 537,000. For Ethereum, that goes up to 6 billion. Now, this has more to do with the fact that the amount of time it takes for a block to be added to Ethereum is much less as compared to Bitcoin. Now, the block size for Bitcoin is 628.286 kilobytes and 25.134 kilobytes for Ethereum. Now, you can see that the market value of Bitcoin is significantly higher than any form of digital currency in the market right now. It is, however, closely followed by Ether, which hopes to take over one day. And now for the big question, which one is better? The answer depends entirely on your requirements. Bitcoin works better as a peer-to-peer transaction system, and Ethereum works well when you need to create and build distributed applications and smart contracts. At the end of the day, the choice is entirely up to you.